let's call this meeting to order. I call to order the October 14th meeting of the Golf Course Committee. First order of business is the approval of the prior meeting minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those? Motion to approve. So moved. Second.
So did you approve?
Yes.
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 One second.
Aye. All right. So the course, moving on to the continuing business course improvement projects. So the irrigation, a couple of updates. I know Dick had some information. Lynn, I don't know if you had more information. The select board last week voted to get more bids. The lowest, the one that came in, I guess, was like 718,000. I don't know if anybody else has any additional update or information on that one.
That's first I heard of it. I didn't hear anything about it.
So I guess they felt that it was too high. It was a 2-second.
Yeah, it was a Zoom. We went on Zoom. And it was at the very end of the select board meeting,
The 3.5 hours.
3.5 hour select board meeting. So I ended up staying up for it. And it was the very last, right, the very last thing that they just, yay or nay, they voted it down what the bid was, never said what the amount was.
Right.
And Pat raised her hand, right?
Yeah, and I asked them how long it would take to get more bids, and they said 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, and what they said, and I don't know if this is true, they were saying like the bid came in like 50% over without ever saying the amount. They're also talking about having the bids not due until next April, which to me is concerning because, I mean, are we at risk of running out of time
What do you mean by running out of time?
on the CPA funds?
From what I understand, they're valid, it's valid for 5 years.
And,
I researched the funds.
but it seems like it's getting a little tight.
They had like a couple of years thing they wanted to report. If it does any good, I did kind of report it, that we were having trouble. I think as long as we're proceeding forward, I think, they'll vote.
I think the other concern is if the more we delay it, isn't the price just gonna go up more?
That's a risk.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's always a risk, right? I mean, it's gone up since our first estimate when we requested the CPC funds, so.
Right.
um,
And to me, this is also a concern with the warrant, the article on the special town meeting warrant.
Right.
Because if it's going over, I'd really like to see us be able to reserve that money to put it towards any overage
Right.
on the irrigation.
Yeah, I was gonna table that further, but as long as we're
Yeah.
talking about it now, yeah, so the warrant article basically says in excess of 75K, the select board, can use, it goes into the general fund. I was going to, I'll stand up at town meeting or whatever, we need to rally the troops, but I think now is not the time for this. I have no problem supporting other things in town, obviously. But I feel like right now, because of the irrigation project, we need to say, we need to hold off on this so that we can save, because part of the reason we had to go to CPC funds is because we didn't save, like, we can save and cover ourselves, if you will. We don't have to go back to the town and say, we need more, because it was a struggle to get it passed once. I don't want to have to go back and ask for more, and people being like, why is the golf course costing us money? And it's not that, like, they don't see the money that goes back to the town, they just see, that the golf course is taking money again.
There was, one of the articles that they talked about on the special town meeting is the revolving fund for the golf course.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Can we we've got the list of the different capital projects, with maintenance, building problem, not including irrigation. I think if we could have some type of estimates on each of those for the special town meeting to show that we don't have extra money. And I think, we could say something like, you know, we wouldn't mind giving money back to the town if we in fact had excess money. But at this point, it would be premature to do that.
Right, that's basically my position is that, you know, in the future, I could see doing that, but right now, I feel like we need to be able to save to cover the irrigation. So, Sam, you look like you were gonna say something?
I had a comment. It seems to me, and I heard the select board conversation about that. And to me, the real new item is the new bid on this. And we're like, the number I heard like 240,000 short or something like that. And if you look at it longer term, I think the point is that it's in the town's best interest to have the golf course be successful. And the irrigation system is a key part of that. Unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, in terms of time delays and cost escalations and all that kind of stuff, we're now out of whack with the CPC money. And I think there's great value in having a mechanism by which the golf course revolving kind of fund can cover whatever gap there is there.
Mhm.
And this warrant article basically limits that ability,
Right.
unfortunately. And so what I would suggest is maybe, Len, if you could have a conversation with Andrew Dennington, the chair, and making that point. And to me, the specific proposal is to get the select board to indefinitely postpone that article while you work this out in terms of where the money's coming from. It's on the warrant, so it's gotta be there, but indefinite postponement is not an unusual thing for these things. And the other piece is that's coming from Kathy Cook in terms of that warrant article. So maybe after Andrew, maybe sitting down with Kathy and making this same pitch to say, you know, we need a little more time and apparently more money. We'll get another bid or other bids. Hopefully it will be closer, but there's still likely going to be a gap between CPC money and the cost of the project. So that it seems very appropriate to have the revolving fund pay for that, as a matter of fact, versus that coming out of someplace else. I don't know the likelihood of getting more from CPC, but that's another, you know, year plus long process. So the golf revolving fund actually would have the money to do that. So if Kathy could be convinced to indefinitely postpone, I think that would actually be substantial push in that direction. But two conversations before town meeting to see if you can convince people to do that.
So you're recommending that I talk to Andrew Dennington?
Andrew first, he's the chair.
Okay,
So get his feedback. If he is at least willing to entertain the conversation, then again, Kathy to me is the one that the most pressure for that came from.
okay,
And I think if Andrew and Kathy are on board with it, I think there's a good chance that at least one more select board member would go along with it. You need 3 votes.
right,
Get them
to postpone.
definitely postpone.
So since it's already on the warrant, though, it would still come up and then the select board would
And
vote.
then they're the select board's a sponsor, and any sponsor of an article can move to indefinitely postpone the article.
Okay, so
And then
that's.
town meeting has to vote, but almost without exception, if the article sponsor says we're not ready yet, town meeting will vote to support that. So.
Yeah. And
Guaranteed.
Jen, just to give you an idea of, I mean, Kathy is like obsessed with this from what I could see. Marguerite at one point actually wanted to be want to present this article, and Kathy said, no, this is mine.
Yeah, I saw that when I watched the Zoom of the last, the recording of the last select board meeting.
The other thing too is, and maybe it's depending on how those go, Jen, I think would be good is if something could be written up, kind of bringing out the points. I mean, I'd like to send it out to everyone from Southborough who's in the golf league, but I think there are other people too, just to try to get as much support. If it's not going to be tabled, get as much support at town meeting as we possibly can.
Remind me again, when's the special town meeting?
October
October
26th.
27th, so a week from next Monday.
Yeah,
And if you can't get support from the select board to indefinitely postpone, maybe a letter to my Southborough laying out your points would be a good way to communicate as well.
That's a great idea.
But I wouldn't do that unless, I mean, you don't want to pressure the select board or
Right,
something like that.
right.
If they say absolutely not, then you appeal to the town meeting voters.
right.
Damn question.
Hey, Jen?
Yep.
This is Tony Schoner. Sorry I can't be there in person.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
So the bid came in $250,000 over?
Roughly, yes.
Yeah, and does the warrant article say funds over 75K will be transferred or can be transferred?
I think it's will be. Like, Mark sent me some. Information. I'm not 100% sure on that, so let me see if I can look that up.
And either way, it's sort of
The
funny.
articles, it said, this is what Mark Purple sent to me. One caveat, I would point out the article that specifies any unallocated funds in excess of 75K as of 12/31 each year. If you have approved projects during the year, they do not count toward the cap. I agree this approach does not allow you to save for larger projects. Although after irrigation, I'm not sure what the larger projects on tap are. Assabet's involvement in the maintenance building significantly reduces the cost of the project. Select board continues to have the ability to raise the spending cap in any given year, assuming the funds are available to do so should a project require it.
Yeah, so that's very interesting language. The fact that it says unallocated by the end of the calendar year. I mean, there's a significant amount of wiggle room in that language, right?
Right.
And Mark's point that it doesn't allow for funds to be accumulated for a while is fair, but it's also not clear to me that if maybe the select board would allow funds to be accumulated if it was for a purpose like this. Now, I will certainly defer to Sam about that. And I will make one last comment. I think, in my opinion, it's entirely reasonable for the revolving fund to be used to make up the gap on the irrigation system. If there's a mechanism to accomplish that, but I don't find personally that warrant article to be that offensive, I must admit.
Yeah, I don't either, other than our current state with the irrigation. Right,
Yeah,
I would like to
so
be able to say, so that's why.
I
it's like,
think there's a very,
table it
I think
for later.
I'm sorry, there's a very interesting question about how should the gap for the irrigation system be resolved? And it really seems reasonable to me, just my opinion, that if it's $250,000, that's certainly within the realm of what the revolving fund could cover over several years. And so how can that be accommodated? I have no idea how that works in town finances, but how can that be accommodated? I think going back to CPA is absolutely a dead end. I would not attempt that personally. But using the significant funds coming into the revolving fund, in my opinion, it seems like there should be a path there. But Sam, do you have any more commentary there?
Good point, Tony. The issue for me is how is the select board going to interpret that language? And Jen, I would again recommend conversation first with Andrew and lay out that point with him and say, Andrew, and I'd not ask, I'd actually do it in a positive way. I'd say it's our understanding, the golf committee, with this language, we can allocate funds for the irrigation system and not have those funds be automatically transferred. Is that your understanding as well? And if he says, yeah, then that's a good start.
But then the question is, who allocates them? If we say they go to
Yeah, well,
irrigation and they say,
But that's it, that you allocate. So
okay,
in other words, the premise, the underlying premise is the golf committee allocates those funds.
okay,
Andrew, do you agree that that works? And if he says, yeah, that's a good start, then I'd have that same conversation with Kathy, just to make sure she doesn't view it differently and is prepared to argue at a town meeting. And if that's the case, then I think you're good shape.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, Sam. I mean, at
unless
least the way
somebody else is elected and they see it differently.
yeah, but that language as you read it, Jen, I think at least sounded to me pretty clear that it has to be allocated. Well, what does that mean? So the golf course committee allocates it. The select board has to approve it, I think, right, Sam?
Yes,
Probably, yeah, but it'd be good to get their official blessing of that process, certainly.
That's right. That's right. So if that was the case, then, at least in my opinion, again, the next most interesting question is how to use the revolving fund to bridge the gap on the irrigation system.
Right,
Because it really seems like that should be possible.
yes, it does.
And
So
I
again,
I
this
agree
is
with all the
just an
language that
email.
Sam was saying, you know, it's a town asset, all the language we've used before. It's a town asset. We should invest. This is the most important project, you know, it makes the course valuable for the next 50 years, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, so what I read was in an email that Mark sent to me, that isn't the exact language of the warrant article. I'm not sure, is that posted yet? It should be posted somewhere, right? I'll have to look it up.
The summary says the article will allow unencumbered funds, not require. So I think and I'm looking for the article itself here.
Right,
Yeah, and allow, in my opinion, is perfectly fine language, right? If it allows. But
Yeah.
that might be not the actual language of the article. Yep.
yeah, I guess. The problem with any language is open to interpretation, and I think I would rather have it tabled for now.
Yeah,
It's safer.
not so clear, actually. I just found the language here.
Okay,
And it says it in the table for revolving funds. That's part of the bylaws. It says any unencumbered balance golf course user fees over 75K as of December 31 annually shall be deposited in the general fund. So the description said may be, but the actual language says shall be.
yeah,
So I think it would be good to clearly define what unencumbered means. That's to me the key.
That
So
is correct. Yep.
If the golf course committee allocates those funds or encumbers those funds, and if the golf course committee can't do it, but if the select board is prepared to encumber those funds over 75K for the irrigation project, I think that gives you what you need. So what you need is confirmation from Andrew and helpful support from Kathy to
mhm,
say, we're prepared to encumber those funds, to allocate those funds, whatever, to direct them to pay for the irrigation project.
Plus, I think if we look at the other capital projects, we have other things that are planned for next year that would need those funds as well. Especially like the tee boxes.
Is that considered unencumbered? Since it's not been approved?
Well, but that's under 75K, right?
You're at 120 now, thereabouts, by the end of the year, it'd be about 150 by December 1st.
What do you mean? In the fund?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
But I'm saying if it's not approved and
The
you don't have the
expenditure, the tee
bids,
box expenditure is not
what does encumbered mean is what I'm asking.
dedicated by the golf committee.
So they have to vote on it by December 1st.
Golf committee has to,
I
Approve.
think, so I think
Each
we
year.
should, at least my opinion, unencumbered means that the golf committee has recommended that the funds be used this way, and the select board has to approve it, right, Sam? The
I
select
think
board.
so. Yeah.
So
So
I
they
think
have to approve
that's what
every
encumbered
project.
means.
You know, it feels like even. It feels like you've got the select board wanting to take anything over 75,000. We could find definitely projects that, and a lot of things have been moving slower than we'd like. That would definitely, you know, take that money, and yet. It sounds like we still have to go through them to approve
well, it
it.
sounds like a
Select board needs to
conflict of
agree.
interest.
It does. They want the money, but we have to go to them to ask if we can keep it.
Sadly, that's the way it works.
So I think we have to accept that there's always going to be tension in town around money spent on the golf course. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there just is going to be. And so you know, it's going to require working with the select board to get things approved. And again, just in my opinion, I think the most important thing, I think we all agree, is figuring out how to get the irrigation system in. Because that's the big number. Everything else is much smaller. So is there a way of solving the irrigation system between now and next spring?
Can I add something?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
disagree with all the numbers I'm hearing.
Okay,
I think we should reach out to CPA and get the actual amount. I mean, I'm hearing 250,000. My knowledge, they gave us 500, Sam, 50,000 contingency. And we would have put 50,000 up. And that makes it 600. I believe the bid was 718, at least that's what I was told. That leaves us 118,000 short, not 250.
I don't know the numbers, so it's a good point. It's worth knowing the actual numbers.
Okay.
So Jen, if you can get the actual numbers when
Well,
you talk.
somebody on the select board must know the actual because they voted down the bid.
Well, all they voted down was the 700 and whatever. I thought it was 740, but maybe 718. So they
That was
voted
the-
down.
That, because during that meeting, they never said what the bid was.
Yeah.
Just that they're voting it down, it was too high.
I think I heard him at one point, I thought, talk about 700 plus. So, but again, knowing the actual numbers would be very helpful.
So 718, but I still believe we have 600.
Okay, I thought the number we had was 500.
yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it was
you did
500
right.
from
No.
It's 500 with a 50,000 contingency. Which is automatic.
I think Dick is closer to the correct number here. I forget the exact number, but if we're off by approximately $150,000, right? Maybe that's what it's off by. I will say I think it's going to be very challenging to get more money from CPA.
I don't think we should be going for more money. I agree with the numbers that Dick's saying. That was my understanding. They might not want us to be counting on using that 50K contingency right up front.
That's how those projects work. That's why they put the 50 in the CPC, CPA. That they kind of figure if it does go over the 50, it'll cover it.
Yeah,
And-
so from one of my meetings with Mark, I do have the 550 written down in my notes. From meeting with Mark, that CPC is 550,
Right. And 50 from us.
And the
yes,
50,
which
the
has already been
50,
spent.
that's already been spent.
Our contribution is already gone, they've already taken it and already been
Okay.
used in architectural
So
or
that would put
whatever.
us at 600 and whatever the bid is. Whether it's 750 or 718.
Right. So we're roughly 150 to 200
Yeah.
short.
So maybe
And-
it's worth trying to sit down with Mark today or tomorrow, Jen, just to walk through the details. Sam, what do you think of that?
Sounds useful. Yeah, get the numbers nailed down so everybody has a common base there.
And Jen, I would happily participate in that if you found that useful. I was in the middle of all this when this was all going on. So I don't know if there's a way of sitting down with Mark either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have to see what I can do if I can get on his calendar or whatnot.
He's usually pretty easy.
Yeah,
I usually just go down there
yeah.
and he sees me. He's done it every time so far. I think I made one appointment with him, otherwise I just walk in. And if he's free, and we've met with him like 3 or 4
4
times.
times,
so-
yeah. We like it practically after every meeting.
I know,
Like,
I
I
just
don't know
go down
what to
after the
do.
meeting and just see.
Like, help me, help me, help me.
Yeah.
So. All right, anything more on that irrigation project? Don, anything you wanna add?
Nothing right now.
Okay.
So it's all in town's hands, so I'm waiting to see, because like I said, we gotta involve a lot of people back and forth type stuff, which I don't want to get into until you make a decision how you want to go about it.
Yep.
And the only thing I say is that it's the labor that just totally exploded on it, because I know the pots actually stayed pretty constant.
Oh, really? Even with all the
So-
tariff talk and this and that, the
Yeah,
parts of state.
yeah, there was, they do go up, they're gonna go up November 1st. So. it's gonna go
November
up-
1st?
Yeah, 10%. So that's going up, but that was, you know. Maybe $160,000. So the rest is all labor. So that's what, again, might be something, whereas you might have to, instead of having something, we might have to, the fortunate thing about all these systems that you can add in later. And that's actually can be beneficial to you when cut back something now,
Mhm.
is that when you need to spend money, you can, by adding in things that might not be total, total coverage, we can add in later and, you allocate 25,000 a year or $20,000 a year, and that helps you with, the end of December 1st, amounts to approve that. That's how we do a certain golf courses,
So you-
there's an ongoing cost.
Okay, so you put down there's a basic layout and then you can add to it?
Yeah, that's the new systems.
Ah.
It's very nice. You can redo systems. We're thinking of, brought forward other courses to redo things that are 20, 25 years old. And rewiring things, and it's a lot easier just to pop them in. Technology's just improved that much.
Mhm.
So here, there's no technology. But
Right.
it's just something that, again, I'm just waiting here and talking to, I haven't talked to really, I talked to, Bill Cundiff once, and he just gave me a brief estimate after the bid, what was going on, and, so, it might be, so I'm just waiting here from you. It might be something where we just, maybe try to limit the scope of the work, adjust that down, cut back on the labor, and a few other things, trying to push it through this year ain't gonna happen. I don't think it's beneficial to go out for, for an install until next year now. It's just getting people lined up. It might be a little bit more, you can start earlier and don't jump a season, 2 seasons, jump between, this fiscal year and this year and next year type thing. So.
Okay.
I guess my question is, so if we are talking about this and talking about the funds, using the revolving funds for the irrigation project, then does that put everything else until we figure out what's going on with that on the back front?
Good point.
I mean, if we use the funds for other things, then we don't have the money to fill the gap.
Right,
It might
right.
be a way to
Do you,
So do
keep
we,
that money allocated, but not losing it.
I know.
It is
So-
allocated, so you're not gonna lose. it. But
Right,
does that, and that comes off the balance, right? So I think that's what you said, something comes off the total.
You gotta make the whole thing fit, yeah, so you need a plan.
Yeah.
For currently known expenditures, plus then the irrigation system, how does that work, how does that whole thing work together?
okay.
A spreadsheet basically, then I guess, huh? Just basically a
And
cost.
so with that kind of plan, you can talk with Mark about that, say, here's our plan for how all this is gonna work. And then take that to the select board as well and have a firm picture that people can look at, understand and approve. As opposed to having different views of all of that, which is sort of where we are today, I think.
Hmm,
I concur with Tony's suggestion. He's been involved in that quite a while, and so he's got a good feel for the numbers. So if he's available to help with that, I think that would be very helpful.
Tony or Mark or both?
Both Tony and Mark,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think if we could, Jen, it'd be great to sit down with Mark today or tomorrow, since the time is so short.
Okay. After this meeting, I'll try, so tomorrow morning,
Yeah, I can, maybe I'll send him a note right now. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
And what's your schedule today?
today, after this meeting, need to. The morning would be the best. I have to take my son to the airport down in Providence, so,
Okay, let me see if I can arrange that. So I'll let you know.
okay, thank you. Okay, anything more on this, or should we move on? Ready to move on? The cart path, John said we're.
The schedule, we gotta bump it up a few times, so it's the 21st.
Yep, excellent. And then the fencing, so I had sent Mark is gonna, I thought he was gonna do it this past select board meeting, but I guess it's gonna be the October 21st. We'd already approved 17K for the fence and 7K for the trees.
Mhm.
But you had said in your email you needed design. I thought we had
Yeah, I
agreed on
just-
the design.
I just wanted something that,
Want it in
again, it's
writing.
either you're gonna follow the contours of the bow, so you're gonna do straight across, I just don't want. That you get fielding complaints and you haven't just, that you don't know about.
I thought we went out there and did that.
Right.
I
but
wasn't too
didn't-
sure exactly how you want, whether you want to step it down and go across, do we offset them? I just like to have this more, even just a little sketch, just so I can present to the people I've been talking to. Just so
And
they're.
we
on the same
wanted it
page.
to follow the same as the other one,
Right.
right? And then.
Right, but even the other one goes up like this,
Yeah,
so I was actually had a better look, because it comes up and goes up, so. I just didn't know whether you want to straight across the top, or is it just from ground level, to top level, 12 feet? And then which case you follow the contour of the ground, if it dips down, the top of the fence will dip down.
or we say we're.
Are you
Follow-
gonna try and do the best we can to. You just don't wanna have, it depends on your sight line, that's it, because someone's gonna complain.
Cause you're saying there's like a delta.
Oh,
in
yeah, there's
the
a dip.
Ground level.
Oh, there's a
of
dip, yeah.
What,
The contour of the land goes down, then back up.
do you know how
again.
many feet?
You don't want a gap
It's
underneath, you
significant.
wanna be able to minimize, you don't have to bring a material and fill it in. You know what I mean? You don't want grass growing up, you don't want balls going underneath.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I just wanna make sure that there was, that you provide me with something that. I just show them this is what we want, cause they're gonna be out there and want to call somebody, hey, is this okay type thing.
That's what,
It's
like
nice to
100
have
feet?
a view of it, just a
Yeah.
diagram.
Right, I thought when we were out in the golf carts, like looking at it before, but, we're like,
Yeah.
wanting to follow the contour to match what's already there.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you match ours, the fence that's already there. That's gonna be the difference, that's what I'm saying, you can't match the fence.
Right,
The
well-
Top of the fence behind the green is gonna be straight across, then it's gonna dip down like that, if you follow the
If you
ground
follow the-
contour.
Yeah.
Right.
Or do you wanna step it down and try to go across and try to, plus minus it, cut and fill basically.
Which we had discussed, as you said to me, it's still a 12-foot fence, it
Correct,
is,
that's what I
but
did
it's
say.
not covering the same height anymore.
Correct. Again,
So
I
I-
just wanted to get a diagram.
Right. so
That's all I
thought we
want is a
wanted to
diagram.
Get to cover the height.
Okay.
Because that's what it
Did
says,
that-
but I just want to make sure there's a
remember?
diagram, so again, I'm just,
Okay.
see why, remind,
Okay,
that's all.
so,
Don't anything to back of me, saying I put it in wrong,
No, right.
that's all.
it's all
If
your
it's
fault.
round dips, then you would have more fence to keep the height of the same.
It'd be well, you would need it if you wanted to follow the bottom
Yeah.
and still
the
keep it
It would
level
be
hard
12
and rising on
right.
top.
Right,
There's a
in some
2-foot
sections it would be 14. and
Right.
some-
Yeah, I think I said it was like 14 inches or something, difference of 16
Yeah,
inches.
6 or
A foot
8.
and a half, I think it was a
Yeah,
foot and a
18
half.
inches, yeah, that's what we talked about.
Did we discuss the fact that we had stuff to put in as a filler though?
Yes, we did. I just wanted the diagram,
Okay,
that's all I
Okay.
wanted.
my mind's not, my memory's not as good as yours.
Just something that
Okay.
just
So
shows
if we could
me,
fill it
and I
in.
can show the contract.
Okay,
This is
so,
what we want the finished product to look like, and if there's an issue, there's an issue.
okay.
Yeah.
And then you come back to us and tell.
Well,
Whatever.
more or less, I'll have to
we
call
can
somebody
figure
right
it
away.
out. Okay. So do you remember that though?
I
So
do,
we
but
have
we can-
filler, we had thought,
Yeah, but you don't wanna have a fill this much fill, a foot and a half, so.
Right.
Again, I just wanted to.
You guys have decided on about a foot.
Right, yeah, we
Hey,
decided
I
to
just
split
don't
the
want it to come
difference.
back on me.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we, like you said, we said to split the difference and,
Yeah, that's what you said.
yeah. Alright, so you and I should get together, make sure we draw this out
That's all,
exactly the
just-
way we
I'll
always
just put
do.
my artistic ability to it.
Alright,
You can't draw a stick like this, but.
that's okay, you just need a fence, we don't need people.
Good thing.
So, and then the same thing on the trees.
I got a list of trees.
Yes, I didn't know which one to get, and that's what I need to do, so I can get a price, get the right
Yeah,
price.
so I did the research that you had talked about and got a list of, I mean, I don't know, does it matter? I really have like 5 or 6.
Evergreens is what I'd like to see, that they're all the time. Because spring and fall, we open up and the leaves drop, I don't want that to be an issue.
Okay. So, cause I mean, it sounds like the eastern white pine, or wasn't there one though that you had brought up and?
It was not, I said it wasn't, that was spruce, a blue
Right, but when
spruce.
we both went on that Go Botany and it looked like the spruce was okay.
I know.
Sit down.
I mean, I kind of like, for instance, I'm just gonna give you an example, but I don't know. I actually went, there was actually a YouTube video of a golf course. And the guy was saying all the different trees and what, you know, which were best for what.
They have to be native to Massachusetts.
Yes,
They were,
yes,
they-
yes.
again, not to America.
But the thing, like the red maple, 40 to 70 feet,
Yep.
faster growing, tolerates large range of soil conditions.
Right,
I mean,
that is, yeah, I understand, those deciduous shoots you don't want.
No, because the leaves fall off.
Right, right. And then like the eastern white pine, that,
Yeah, I thought that was, but I just got fed up with her, to tell you the truth.
it says,
Process.
yeah, so it can grow up to 150 feet tall, 75 to 150 feet.
Yep.
The
No.
red oak, the white oak, I mean, the elm, I mean, there's tons of trees.
No
like-
elms. Don't want elms, deciduous.
Okay, see, that's what I mean. I knew which trees were, but I don't know what necessarily which
okay.
ones are good for a golf
Right.
course. No elms.
No, nothing is gonna lose.
Nothing
weight.
deciduous,
Okay.
right?
So you thought the eastern white pine would be,
I think that's fine.
okay.
I just didn't know if you had to go and ask permission.
That a messy one with needles and,
They're gonna have needles. Spruces have needles.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
spruces aren't as bad as. But, okay.
Okay.
They're confined, they drop straight down. And then Jill picks them.
John, which one was the one she told you wasn't?
It's a Colorado, I think it was a spruce, a blue spruce that was actually native
Not.
to Colorado, not here.
Okay,
It's native to the United States.
but do you feel if there was a spruce that would work, that would be better than?
I couldn't see it, I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
didn't see a spruce.
So
And
I got,
I just want to keep with the list the town provided.
Yeah.
Provided, if that's on the list the town provided. And I'm not gonna get any feedback because they're put in, that's
Eastern
all.
white, I didn't, I'll be honest, I didn't really see that on it.
I found this white spruce. That's supposed to be,
I didn't know if you had to go by genus, which is the Latin.
Cause I went on that top.
Pistea or Picea,
Yeah.
Glauca,
That's just
Glauca,
fine, yeah.
Glauca. And that one, I happen to have, I'm looking at it. In New England, it's present in all the New England states.
That's all I need to know. Well, again. That's just tell me what you want to put in
Okay,
and then it's okay to put in. That's all. To do the work.
but is one, if we could do both, is one better than the other?
I couldn't tell you, I'm not a tree guy. I'm
Okay,
just saying a pine is a pine as long as it's upright, fluffy, not column. You don't want straight up, you want something that's. flat.
Yeah, something that
all right,
kind of fill out that space visually,
Right.
right, when we look.
yeah,
Yep.
okay.
All right, the fencing, the trees and, oh, Kathy's up again, the wording for the signage.
Yes, so I have the wording. I just want to run it by everybody. I couldn't get a hold of Mark. He was on vacation. Because I think I have to run through him to see if we have to get approval. It's basic. It's just gonna be golfers, please be aware that you're responsible for any damage caused by wayward balls. And we thought we would put that along the seventh fairway.
The seven, by the tee box, right?
Mhm. There's another sign there already.
Yes.
That if you hit
Use
outside, yeah. The drop
Oh, use
zone.
the drop zone.
Yeah, so put that there too, I thought. If you don't think it's too much in one place,
Put somewhere else, we'll find.
you know,
Or we can move one side to the other.
okay,
That's all.
okay, so I mean, it's pretty basic, I don't think it's gonna offend anybody, but I have to double check. Cause you never know.
Just don't want it to be negative, that's all, I just want to be.
Right.
Responsible for anything.
So where did you talk to Mark? How did you come up with this?
Out of my head,
Oh. I thought you, okay, I thought you were done.
I came up with that,
I thought you were done research, okay.
no, I went to him to have the meeting with him
Uh-huh.
to see if
If that wording was
that
okay.
wording was okay,
Ah,
and he was on
okay.
vacation.
Okay,
I don't wanna just run with it.
yeah, yeah.
So once we get approval for that, do we figure out who, a sign company, or do you?
Mark said he could do it. But the town would. do
Yeah,
it.
you might
Okay.
have vendors, I'm sure,
Okay.
because you have so many signs in town,
Okay.
they probably have a vendor.
I mean, can we pick colors and everything like they did at the
Oh,
select board meeting?
No, at the,
What was it?
that was the CPC.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Picking colors. Something that really catches the eye. Okay,
Yeah. Well, what are the town colors? We might have to use. town
that's what I
colors.
mean. I just don't know if
Or the golf course, does golf course have a theme color?
we have a color.
Yeah, we have a waterprint on the town, on a waterprint that's usually up against like a royal blue,
Right, blue and white.
background and then white lettering.
That's that sign that's there. Yeah.
Oh, it's, I think, I can't recall.
No, I think
just
it
know- I
is.
just think of the pro shop sign when you go in and see.
No, I think
pricing.
that sign's blue with white too.
Yeah.
Okay,
They all are.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably just keep it consistent.
okay.
The maintenance projects, you had said that the Ts on 2, 8, and 9 are gonna be resodded. And how about,
Yes, yeah, we just got the sod yesterday, so we're just waiting for the dry ups.
okay. Not just the.
That's just general maintenance, so.
And then the capital projects, I don't know if we wanna put some of this stuff on hold now till we figure out more of that irrigation
I
stuff.
have it prepared, knowing what you wanna do. There's a lot of questions on the Ts, reconstruction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, like the 50, I think is what we recommended. We
Yes.
just need to know what, how much money do you wanna spend or how much you
Right.
wanna allocate for it. What you wanna include, a cart path would be nice, asphalt, cart path along with the Ts. We just need to know, cause we don't, when we, you approved, to bring on a architect, I don't know if that's got approved from the town yet.
no,
Plus.
well, I haven't submitted that
Okay,
yet.
so we need to know, and he needs to know exactly, because it's based upon his price, what he has to do,
Right,
and so it's best to know exactly what you want. Because
So I
they
was
usually go
thinking on-
percentage of what they think the total price is.
I was. Thinking we should hold on approving fees for that, just until we figure out what the irrigation. All of those numbers first, and then come back to this,
Still gotta find the numbers,
Yeah.
you gotta know it ahead of time, but you can't do that.
right?
Can't we, put things in as a plan and decide and revise it? I mean, just have as much of the revolving fund allocated as possible and then make the decision to revise that based on the irrigation project?
but I think if we approve or allocate funds, then you can't take them back for one project for another, right?
Don't think so, I don't know, Sam.
Yeah, you probably could. I mean, you can revise a plan, certainly.
After approval of funds for it, for a project?
Yeah, you could certainly, but not typical. I mean,
You just don't
wanna have-
wanna keep it like a habit.
Yeah, you wanna have a plan and stick with it if at all possible. On the other
Right.
hand, things change, so plans have been changed in the past, but
I just didn't know, do you unallocate dollars that you have?
yeah, it's probably better to have a firm picture of what you want than
Right.
go in sort of halfway with things that are still up in the air.
Alright.
Didn't you actually approve things in lieu of? Similar, similar thing, just saying, well, we approve this in lieu of. With consideration to the irrigation needs.
Yeah,
Is that just getting too much?
I don't know if that gets messy, alright. So those capital projects, I guess I'm gonna kind of hold for now. Mark. Did have Assabet and come take a look for rebuilding the maintenance building. You were there, Dick?
Yes, John was at one of the meetings.
Yeah.
And then they came back. So
Okay.
we suggested new building. Went through the town, what's the guy's name again? John Parent.
John.
Yeah, John Parent came back. With Assabet to look at reconstructing what we have. Okay, because the sills are kind of gone. Around the outside and. There's no sag, the building's not sagging down at this point. But the talk was to put sills underneath and scissor them, floors.
So like a refurb instead of,
Refurbish that siding, whatnot, okay? Plumbing, electrical, et cetera, but. They think the building can last another 100 years,
It's already 100 years, isn't it?
Correct, well, we assume it was there in 1896 anyway.
Mhm.
And I don't know when the house and the barn actually got there. Across the street says 1888 on the house, but
Right.
somewhere in that era.
Uh-huh.
The other consideration that was talked about was the fact of the matter is that that's kind of a historic building. And it also fits into the neighborhood, okay, the way it is. So I don't know if we tear it down and we try to put up an aluminum building, whether that's gonna fly. I know John would be happy with that, but, you know, I think it would kind of flow with the town better.
That's like,
You know,
so
the
you're saying the
neighborhood.
current building is a historic and it, but
Well, it's gotta be a store if it goes back that far.
Right.
And I don't know if you get any flack about taking it down. The other consideration is, we don't want it. John doesn't wanna be shut down for a long period of time.
right,
And the way Assabet is talking, they're gonna use it as a building project.
Oh, just come at when they can.
But because they get out on jobs,
Uh,
and then there's downtime, like the HVAC guys come, the
yeah.
kids have nothing to do,
Um,
so we could have them come in and maybe do a wall or something.
yeah,
Really wouldn't disrupt the whole barn.
yeah.
You'd have to move some stuff out of their way.
And how does that work? Do you just pay for materials and then they do,
He was gonna get us a number,
uh,
okay?
But usually it is materials. It's a great deal. I mean, they did the senior center edition on the front there. That was a total bargain.
they'll do all the labor and you
Very
just.
well done.
Yeah.
And they're very professional. Their faculty is really good
Hmm.
typically. And so you get high quality work. It takes a little longer, but it's still economically a great deal if you can work it out with them. And Dick, to your point about historic, there are a lot of people in town who care about that. So if you actually could preserve it, I think that would be a much smoother path than raising the question of, is it historical or not? And can you tear it down or not, et cetera.
Right.
There are a lot of people who've gotten into a lot of discussion about that, and sometimes it takes a lot of time to sort that out. So again, it sounds to me like updating is a smoother path to the finish line with that, if you can do that.
We have one problem with the whole thing. And that's the Audubon International. Okay, when the initial meeting with them, the PGA lady was out. She had said that we probably could pass all the rest of the Audubon International projects. And the final one is the maintenance facility. Most places never get that done. And the reason for that is that requires a brand new building with, you have to have facilities to capture all the oil. You'd have to have what the town has, like a wash thing. So if somebody gets sprayed with a chemical, and you know, first of all, the site won't allow it. They're talking about there, and I don't know, would it be good to put it anywhere else on the golf course, but John?
I don't wanna, don't know. I know there's a lot of little things that you should have. Again, I've never gone through the Audubon program. What they look at what you have, or they look at what you should have, I'm not too sure. I'm sure some things you probably, you need some things, you do. You can't have like, one thing I just thought about today is that we're eventually gonna need is a fuel dispensing system. Keeping it in cans, which I had to go fill up today, is not very good. And that's gasoline, diesel, you keep in a 275 gallon diesel tank. But again, it's things that, that are gonna be needed, that are just basically minimal, operating, equipment that you need.
And I don't see us ascertaining that anyway, not in my lifetime. Okay, and the maintenance project, as Sam suggested, would probably fly a lot better
mhm,
with the existing building. And we're really lucky to have Assabet, there's no question.
right.
I thought they would say, no, we want to do it all at once, and all. He's thrilled to death to say, if I could spend a week over there, certain times it fits their needs, so
Right,
I give my vote for that. You still can belong to a Audubon International,
right.
doesn't mean a lot of places do. You just don't get the final accreditation, and I don't know how important that is.
And there's one, it's sort of like if you're in process too, if you're working towards meeting these goals.
Right,
It's not necessarily if you currently meet all of these criteria.
when I need the irrigation, you know, we're rebuilding T's and we're going forward. We have T's that basically they serve 5,000 people a year. Now we're doing their 30.
Right,
Okay, so that type of thing, enlarging them, like, it's very important because the amount of swings and that are
right.
going on have tripled.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway,
Okay, all right, under other updates, I was gonna talk about the town warrant article, but we've already done that. And then any other commentary, anything anybody wants to bring up? Questions, comments, concerns?
I have one thing to say. And this is, I go back what you say, we don't mind helping the town.
Mhm.
But to take this into perspective. The town gets $50,000, it doesn't even buy a police cruiser, it's about half the money. $50,000 to the golf course is immense. As to what the future of the golf. And that doesn't mean we don't, you know, I love the golf course, I love the town of Southborough. I'd love to help both. But we're not where we have to be, is what I would say. And I just don't think that's gonna bail the town out of its current $100 million deficit. They didn't get the school, which is driving this whole thing, by the way. Yeah, that's all I,
The school,
well, we didn't, last year we turned down the school proposal,
right,
which was 100 million.
right,
And somehow, I think the selectmen are thinking we don't wanna pay for a school. All right, maybe we wanna pay for a school at 50 million, you know, and not 100 million.
Mhm.
I just don't see where 50,000 is gonna help that. And I think that's what the driving issue is.
Yeah, I think it's just a general, fiscal responsibility kind of thing where, there seemed to be a disconnect, the proposal was like this really fancy Taj Mahal kind of school, and the
Right.
town people really wanted more of a, let's have a more basic, like, we know we need to do something, but do you go, you know?
I don't think it really fits the budget of some of us, that's the problem.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't fit my budget, okay?
Yep.
So, you know, I'm not against schools,
right.
okay, that's not, I was educated in South, you probably can tell. But my education was all Southborough schools. So whatever the results are, you can judge me with schools. Thank you,
I think a few things have changed since you went through it, but.
definitely. I was the last to graduate from the old Peters High.
Oh, wow,
Okay, and that was, you wanna talk about basics? That was a wood place where you went into school, that was all it was.
wow. All right,
Just to kind of add to that point, I obviously am a newcomer. I don't have kind of all the background and history, but I do feel like, my understanding is that is this related to the warrant? Is that I think in terms of like our money and kind of giving money back to the town, like obviously, yes, things are growing. And so that means there's more revenue coming in. So maybe there's, a responsibility to kind of put more back into the town. However, like as we've spent the whole day talking about, there's increase in maintenance costs as a result of more people coming through. There's, increase in capital projects as a result of higher usage. And I think, we've got a past of like, here's what we've had to spend, and like maybe we do have money, but I think, we should also look forward and say, okay, if we continue on this path of growth, our expenses are going to continue to rise, and making sure that we're not giving, and I don't know to what degree we're have the ability to influence any of this, but we're not giving, money back to the town that we actually need, and like we're projecting we're going to need. So that's the one thing. And I think no one else is going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, the golf course, take your money, keep your money. We're going to be the ones that have to be that voice of saying like, let's retain kind of the money that we need. And sure, if there's some level that can above and beyond, but and I don't know, the specifics around kind of those numbers, but because of the growth that I'm seeing and hearing, and I just want to make sure that we look at things not from a historical and today, but in like a kind of projection in the future, and just make sure we have enough money for ourselves to pay for the maintenance, pay for all these capital projects.
I think part of what I'm trying to grapple with a little bit is, I feel like I didn't realize until I've never been on anything political, and I didn't realize the bureaucracy that goes on with things, how long it takes things to get done, unfortunately. And I just don't know if they're reflecting on, well, they haven't spent the money on this. They haven't spent the money in the last couple of years on this, so they obviously don't need it.
Gotcha.
And that's when I'm wondering if part of, on an individual level, if that's what's going through a few of these select board people's thoughts, not realizing that we do want to allocate the money. It's just, it takes time. You've got to get bids, you've got to do this, you've got to figure out the layout of what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't want our history to impede us, because we do want to do these things, but I didn't realize, like you said, I mean, let's plant a tree. Well, guess what? I just, and
It's like the fence, right?
it's
How
like
long
the,
do we
yeah,
have the fence?
it's just, it's frustrating, but it's also, I don't want that to be. I hope that's not the basis of a little bit of what they're thinking. Well, they haven't spent it, so they don't need it, but we do, but it just takes.
Well, it's the conservation restrictions
Yes.
and the town, and
Yes.
like everything we approve then has to go reapproved. and
Even
then
even
go
the
back.
car path,
And having to get all the bids and having to, like it just
just the car
takes
path
way more
alone.
time than
I just thought I had to go to one group for the, no, you have to go to conservation, and then you have to go to the
Sudbury Valley.
Sudbury Valley trustees, and then they have to get back to this, and it's like, really? I get it, I understand that's how it works, but the wheels are slow, and I just don't want them thinking that because the wheels have been a little slow, maybe that's why we don't need it. We do, and we're trying to move forward with this. And I agree totally about, this is what we need to do for the future.
Right, right, which is part of my trying to put like projects on the agenda so that we have a more foresight, I guess.
We've done a great job, John. This is a management company. People work there, golf committee, everybody's done a great job of bringing this forward and getting the patrons to come. We've done a terrific job. We've done a bad job communicating where we want to,
Right,
okay, and what has to be done. You can say, well, it doesn't have to be done, but if you want to be relevant, today's golf world, and there may even be some more money come in because you can raise the price. Right now, we're either the lowest greens fee or just about the bottom.
right.
Couple of dollars raised that way makes another $60,000 in
Yeah.
revenue for the
We
year.
are the lowest.
At one point, I remember Marguerite saying, why aren't we a country club? Well, we're never gonna reach that level. but
Right,
It can be a
right.
real fine golf course.
Right.
All right. And the other thing that I find prevalent in the town, it's like the golf course versus the town,
Yeah. that's
which
it.
isn't really what it is, because the
No.
town owns the golf course. All right, and basically the selectmen have the authority to make or break us, to be honest with you. So we don't want to make them mad.
Right,
Right.
Okay,
right.
all right. That's all I got to say on that. So
Yeah, no, it's a big working together and a big PR. And that's why we've talked about putting, status things in myself or another, although that was like the double edged, we're like, well, we want publicity, but we don't want more golfers.
Till we get those tees refurbished.
Yeah, till we get the irrigation and all that stuff done, we can't really handle more, but we want more and
I know.
so.
we've
All
done-
right.
we've done pretty well for a place that was supposed to fail within 2 years.
Right.
Okay, so
Right. All right, so our future meeting schedule, the next second Tuesday is November 11th, which is Veterans Day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want, are you closing
We close somewhere around Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving?
depending on weather.
So I don't know if we wanna move it out a week to the 18th, right around closing to have sort of a wrap up, or do we wanna skip November and go like to
Is
December?
that Thanksgiving week? What's the week after?
The 18th is not Thanksgiving week, right?
Week
Yeah,
after.
the 20th,
The week after.
the week after is Thanksgiving week,
I won't be here on the 18th.
okay? We could do the 25th, or we could move it to the week after Thanksgiving. like December second,
Probably best to do it when after we close.
so December
Wrap
second,
things up before everything's done.
that work for everybody, December second, Brenna?
Yep, that works.
All right, so the next thing. That's sort of a wrap up and we'll know a lot more hopefully then.
That stays away from Christmas too.
Yes, good point. Yeah. Well, before Christmas. Any other updates, comments, concerns? So Tony and I are gonna meet with Mark at 11 o'clock.
Oh, good, okay.
So we'll get the ball rolling on all this stuff.
Is your, okay, okay.
So, and you started asking a question?
No, that's fine.
Okay. I. Vote to it or motion to it. What's the word? I motion to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
I. All right.
Don't go get kids.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work, guys.
Yep,
Thanks.
we thank you.
Now, the sketch up
Brenda, when do you get,
is what does that involve?
I did already. When do I get what?
oh, would you go, aren't you